Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You're sitting in a small room, wires connected to a machine in front of you. A man in a white lab coat stands nearby, clipboard in hand. He tells you to press a button. On the other side of the wall, someone cries out in pain. Would you stop? Or would you press the button again because you were told to? This isn't a scene from a horror movie. It's the unsettling foundation of one of psychology's darkest and most revealing experiments. In the early 1960s, a psychologist named Stanley Milgram wanted to understand just how far ordinary people would go when commanded by authority. His experiment was simple but chilling. Participants believed they were part of a study on learning and memory. They were instructed to deliver electric shocks to another person, who was actually an actor. Every time a wrong answer was given, the shocks weren't real. But the participants didn't know that. As the voltage increased, the actor screamed, begged, even went silent. And still, under the calm direction of the man in the white coat, many participants continued pressing the buttons, all the way to what they believed were dangerous, even lethal levels. The results stunned the world. Most people, despite their obvious discomfort, obeyed authority rather than following their own conscience. It was proof that blind obedience can override even our deepest moral instincts. This is the heart of what we call the obedience trap. It explains how ordinary individuals, people who see themselves as good, kind, and moral, become complicit in terrible acts, from soldiers carrying out atrocities to employees turning a blind eye to corruption. The pattern is the same. A voice of authority whispers, and we obey. Pause here and think gently about your own life. Do you follow rules because they make sense, or simply because they come from someone who looks like they know better? Take a slow breath. Let that thought settle. If authority has the power to bend our actions so easily, then what happens when suggestion alone begins to reshape our very thoughts and memories? Have you ever been absolutely sure about a memory, only to find out it never actually happened? Maybe you recall a childhood trip that didn't exist, or a conversation that never took place. That fragile line between truth and illusion reveals one of psychology's darkest discoveries. Our memories are not solid photographs of the past. They're more like paintings, easily smudged, touched up, and rewritten. Psychologists like Elizabeth Loftus have spent decades showing just how vulnerable memory can be. In her studies, people were asked about events that never happened, like being lost in a shopping mall as a child. After repeated suggestion, many participants didn't just say maybe, they developed vivid, detailed recollections. They could describe the mall, the panic, even the stranger who supposedly helped. These weren't lies. These were false memories, planted like seeds in the soil of the mind. The brain accepted suggestion as fact, rewriting the story of the past. What we once believed to be a perfect archive of our experiences is, in reality, a fragile and constantly edited narrative. The implications are unsettling. If memories can be fabricated so easily, what does that say about eyewitness testimonies in courtrooms, about our cherished family stories, about the very foundation of our identity? Our sense of who we are is built on memory. But if those memories are unreliable, then perhaps the self we believe in is also less solid than we think. Take a slow breath and consider this. How many moments in your life might be nothing more than stories suggested to you by others, or even by your own mind? Pause for a moment. Let that thought echo. If memories can be bent and reshaped with nothing more than suggestion, then what about the choices we make every day? Are they truly ours, or are they being quietly guided by forces we never notice? Imagine stepping into a store. The air feels calm, the music plays softly in the background, and the warm lights make everything glow just a little brighter. Without thinking, you reach for a snack displayed right at eye level. It feels like a free choice, your choice. But was it really? Or was the entire environment carefully designed to guide your hand before you even knew it? Psychologists and behavioral economists call these subtle pushes nudges. They are small cues built into our surroundings that steer us toward particular decisions, often without our awareness. Grocery stores place essentials at the back, so you walk past dozens of tempting items. Websites use endless scroll and bright red notifications to keep you clicking. Even the position of a product on a shelf or the color of a button on a screen is rarely accidental. What feels like freedom is often an illusion. We tell ourselves, "I decided," but in reality, our decisions are shaped by invisible architecture, designed by marketers, designers, and policymakers who understand just how predictable human behavior can be. This realization unsettles the very idea of autonomy. If we are so easily steered, how much of our life is truly under our control? From the brands we buy to the people we follow online, our so-called free will may be little more than a series of orchestrated responses to clever manipulations. Think about the way you scroll on your phone late at night, the way you add one more item to your cart, the way you say yes when everyone else seems to agree. Are these choices yours, or are they gentle echoes of someone else's design? Take a deep breath and let yourself reflect on this. How much of your day was shaped not by your own will, but by someone else's unseen hand? And if the choices we cling to are illusions, what about the self that makes them? What if even consciousness, the I behind every thought, holds mysteries that dissolve the very idea of who we are? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your sense of I beginning to dissolve. Your name, your story, the long list of memories that define you, slowly melting away. Even your body feels less solid, like mist fading into the air. What remains when the self disappears? What is left when the I slips quietly into nothingness? Psychologists and neuroscientists who study altered states of consciousness call this experience ego death. It is the eerie collapse of the personal self. It can be brought on by deep meditation, psychedelic substances, or even moments of trauma. In this state, people no longer feel like a separate being contained inside their skin. Instead, they describe merging into something vast, infinite, and indistinct, like a drop of water falling back into the ocean. The boundaries of identity, where you end and the world begins, simply vanish. There is no me versus them. Only awareness, expansive and unbroken. For some, this dissolving of the ego is liberating. The fears, anxieties, and burdens of daily life lose their grip. Without the constant chatter of I, me, mine, the mind feels light, peaceful, infinite. But for others, ego death can feel terrifying, like standing on the edge of a void and realizing the self you've always clung to may never have been real. It raises one of the most haunting questions of all. If consciousness can exist without the I, then who are we really? Are we individuals or fleeting expressions of something much larger flowing through us? Take a slow breath. Let the thought linger as you drift deeper into reflection, and perhaps into sleep. From obedience to authority, to the fragility of memory, to hidden nudges that shape our choices, and now to the dissolving of the self. Psychology shows us that the darkest tricks of the mind aren't always outside of us. They live quietly, within. As you rest tonight, let these ideas settle not as fears, but as gentle reminders that the mind is deeper, stranger, and more mysterious than we can ever fully know. If you found these thoughts soothing or intriguing, let me know by leaving a comment below. A gentle tap on the like button helps others discover this space, and subscribing ensures you'll have more journeys like this waiting whenever you need them. Until then, rest easy and drift into sleep.